Hello folks, welcome back to the Tiny Fibre Studio. I'm Becks, and in this 51 yarns video we're going to talk about why you might want to rewind a bobbin of yarn, then how you can rewind, and I'll show you some tools, both DIY and commercial, that might help you out. You might even discover a hidden superpower that your wheel has that you didn't even know about. While I'm definitely a convert to rewinding, as with all of my 51 yarns videos, I'd really encourage you to just experiment with these techniques and see if they actually add value to your spinning experience. Let's start with the 8 reasons, at least the ones I can think of, why you might want to rewind your yarn. The first reason is the most simple, and that is to free up a bobbin. You might have an antique wheel which only came with one bobbin, or you need to clear a bobbin ready for a workshop, or maybe you're working on a large project and you've just run out. You can rewind the singles onto something else to free up the bobbin for the next lot of singles. The second reason is to even out the consistency, especially throughout a large long-term project like a sweater spin. If you're aiming for optimal consistency in your yarn, it's always a good idea to keep a close eye on the thickness and the amount of twist throughout your spinning, and compare it frequently to your plyback sample, just to make sure that you don't inadvertently start drafting or treadling differently. But even if you do this, there's a decent chance that the singles that you produce at the beginning of your spin are going to be slightly different from the singles that you produce at the end of the project, because you're human. By rewinding a single bobbin onto multiple smaller storage devices, then you can mix up the older and newer yarn so that the difference in consistency is less noticeable. In my experience, this works particularly well for 3-ply and above. I just recently finished these 2 big spins from a Jacob fleece. I still have more to do, and I had been working on them for months. So I rewound the singles onto weaving bobbins, numbered them from newest to oldest, and then took one from the newer end, one from the middle, and one from the older end, and plied them together. So hopefully it's more consistent than it would have been otherwise. Reason number 3 is to redistribute the twist. Regardless of whether you're using a manual or an electric wheel, there are slight inconsistencies of twist throughout singles. You might have slowed down or sped up your drafting or treadling, or your wheel might not add twist as quickly as the bobbin fills up. Rewinding onto another bobbin gives the extra twist a chance to travel down the yarn to where it's needed more. To do this, you need to give the singles as much space as possible so that the twist has a chance to redistribute over a large area. So you'll want to try and keep your rewinding device as far away as possible from the original bobbin. Also, just be aware that twists will always gravitate to the thinner bits of the yarn. Our fourth reason is to achieve a smoother surface texture. Let's say you're spinning a worsted yarn and you're aiming for a really smooth texture. So you've gone to the extra effort of hand combing your tops. As you spin your singles, you've been smoothing the yarn down with your front hand. So that yarn now has a direction to it. Just like when you run your fingers up and down a strand of hair, you feel no resistance in one direction, but plenty of resistance in the other. If you ply without rewinding, you'd be smoothing the yarn in the wrong direction. So if you're looking for really smooth yarn, rewinding your singles is a great thing to try. Here's a little sample that I did. One of these is rewound, one of them isn't. Answers in the comments if you can tell which is which. Reason number 5 is all about colour management. Imagine that you've got a braid of hand-dyed fibre and your original intention was to spin a traditional 2-ply, but you accidentally spun one singles from the wrong end of the top. Rewind onto another bobbin and your problem is solved. Or just, carry on with it being the wrong way around and see what happens. That's fine too. Or perhaps you originally thought that you wanted long colour repeats, but as you spun your singles, you started to change your mind. You could rewind onto multiple small storage devices, and then you could mix the colours up any way you see fit. Reason number 6 is separating lasagne bobbins. What the heck? is a lasagne bobbin? Well, it's where instead of spinning your singles onto individual bobbins, you spin them all onto the same bobbin with either a little bit of different coloured fibre or a knot to separate them. Then when you're done, you can rewind it onto different storage devices to ply from. Sometimes I just want to spend a nice relaxing afternoon just spinning different fibres or trying different techniques, and I don't want to stop and ply them after each different small sample. So I'll just spin them all onto the same bobbin and then sort out the plying later. The seventh reason that you might want to rewind your yarn is that you've changed your mind about how many plies you want. It's always better to start with a specific ply structure in mind, but if you decide that your singles will work better as a 3-ply than a 2-ply, rewinding allows you to distribute your singles onto multiple bobbins. If you know how much your bobbins weigh when they're empty, you can calculate the amount that you need to transfer from each original bobbin onto the extra one, and then just keep weighing as you go along. And finally, reason number 8 is to make your yarn unwind more smoothly during plying. How does that work? Well, ideally, as you're spinning your singles, you'd frequently move the yarn up and down the flyer arms so that the bobbin is filled evenly and you don't end up with lots of peaks and troughs. But let's be honest, sometimes we just forget and we end up with a big old hill or a lumpy bumpy bobbin. When you go to ply from that bobbin, you might notice that there's a little bit of extra resistance in places, and that can really kind of disrupt the flow of plying. It's a small incremental gain, but I do think it's really worth giving it a try and seeing whether you think it might help you. So all of this begs the question, how do you rewind and what do you rewind onto? Hey folks, Editing Becks here. I hope that you're finding this video helpful. More about ways to rewind yarn in just a second. If you're enjoying it, please do hit the like button and subscribe so that you don't miss out on future videos. Let me know in the comments if you've learned something new or if you have any questions. And if you'd like to support my channel financially, my donation links are in the description and also the pinned comment below this video. Thank you so much to everybody who's donated so far. I massively appreciate it because it allows me to make more videos just like this. So let's get back to how to rewind yarn and what to rewind onto. Let's start with the commercial options. One I don't have to show you is a weaving bobbin winder. Obviously, if you're a weaver, this might be something that either you already have or it might be a good investment for you if it's going to be something that you'll use a lot. You can get manual or electric versions. Weaving bobbin winders can be expensive, so many people use a DIY setup like a drill. Just a little note here, electric drills aren't designed to be run continuously like that, and they may overheat if they're used for a long period of time, so please exercise some caution with that. Alternatively, consider a hand drill if that's an option for you. Since I already have one, I use the quill attachment for my electric spinning wheel instead. I have a little bit of masking tape that I've just wrapped around the quill to make it the correct diameter to fit my weaving bobbins, and it's a really smooth, easy process. Some manual spinning wheels also have quills or styluses available too. Weaving bobbins are a great option for rewinding smaller amounts, particularly for things like evening out the consistency of large projects or for colour management. They're usually fairly affordable and they actually hold quite a lot more than you would think they would if you wind them with a bump in the middle like this. Another DIY option for rewinding small amounts of yarn is using a knitting ball winder and a toilet paper tube. You may want to tape the tube to the ball winder cone first to hold it on more securely and snip a few cuts into the tube, then splay the ends out to prevent the yarn from falling off. For rewinding full bobbins, you can buy commercial bobbin winders or a drill bit attachment to fit a bobbin. Some storage bobbins like these from Bobbins Up even come with their own drill bit attachment. But before you venture down that route, it is possible that your spinning wheel might be able to act as a bobbin winder without you even knowing it. If your spinning wheel has Irish tension, your drive band drives the bobbin directly. So all you need to do is just wind your yarn on from the side instead of going through the flyer. The flyer won't move, so it's not going to get tangled in your yarn. But even if your wheel doesn't have Irish tension, you may still be able to use this trick. If your bobbins have a groove that roughly lines up with the drive wheel, all you need to do is see if you can get the drive band to drive the bobbin instead of the flyer. In the case of double drive, you can either then just tie a new single loop drive band or just run both loops over the end of the bobbin. As long as it doesn't deviate too much from the normal path that the drive band would take, you've got a free bobbin winder. And that's the technique that I use most of the time when I rewind. I actually use my shat matchless in Irish tension mode and just rewind onto a shat bobbin. So if this video was useful to you, then please do hit the like button, subscribe, watch this video next, and I will see you soon. Bye.